future.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome, welcome. Anisha, you ready? The topic is what I don't have
Yes.
enough in life. Once you're ready, you can start.
What we think is what we are. What I don't have enough in life is all comes from the mind. If I think that I don't have anything enough, that's what my mind believes. The moment my mind believes, that is what I start to think. That is called wishful thinking. So if I want to change that thought, it has to start from here. I have to believe first that I have everything that I want in life. Once the thought happens, it is then the activities will change. Once I fix my thought process, then I will be able to lead a very happy life. To quote a very real life example on myself, I've always wanted to go abroad for my education. I thought I did not have that little part, I did not have that enough in life. It all started here because I was thinking I wanted to go abroad to do my studies. But once I started working, once I started seeing different experiences at workplace, the scenario changed, the thought process changed. Once the thought process changed, then I have a feeling that I can experience everything sitting just by sitting here. For example, I am sitting in India now and I'm having a contest with all of you. All of you are from different locations. I don't even know from how many different locations we are here, but all of us are here for a common purpose. If I think I have everything in life, I will have everything in life. If I think I do not have anything, I will not have anything. Yes, that is what I would like to conclude by saying if you want to have everything in life, believe. Belief is what will become in life. That is what is wishful thinking. Let us wishfully think that we'll be content in life and hence we stay content. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Okay, how's the timing?
It's 1 minute 56 seconds, so almost 2 minutes.
Okay. Anyone has comments to give? The title was what I don't have enough in life. Does anyone? Harpreet, you got any comments to give? Toastmaster Harpreet.
So let me just reach my room. Just 2 minutes.
Okay, okay,
I'm presently on road.
okay, okay. I think you had a good way of approaching it by linking our attitude or what we are thinking is the reason for whatever we are achieving in life. However, I'm wondering whether you actually approach a title because you say what I don't have enough in life. So I felt you went a bit off tangent. So what you should do is that what does the word enough means?
Okay.
Many ways of looking at it, right? You can say, if I give an example, uh, a small grain of sugar is enough for an ant, but is that enough for an elephant? So when you give that kind of a context, then you can stretch it, and then you can say in life, what do we mean by what do we need for basic necessities of life, right? Enough is something that you should just need enough for survival. So for survival, what do we need? A roof over the head, 3 meals a day, a place to sleep. Anything else you can add? Peace. I have this. So that is enough in my life. But for others, it's not. Why? Then you explain. Some people want to have cars. Some people want to live in bungalow. Some people want to have the features of a beauty queen. So all this. So what happens is that from having enough, it becomes not enough. And then you explain why. Sometimes peer pressure. My son goes to school. He sees his friend having a Nike shoe. He wants it. He sees his friend having a handphone, he wants it. So what happens there? Has been Is it a luxury has been now misunderstood as a necessity? What we're having in life luxuries, but we think we need that to have enough life. So you can ask a lot of things on this. It's a lot of scope for that. Oh, very good attempt. Who wish to go next? Okay, Meghna, thank you. Your question is, enjoy life. It is not a rehearsal. Enjoy life. It is not a rehearsal. Like I said, all these have been used in contests before.
Sure, sir.
Once you're ready, you can start.
Yeah. Very good evening, Toastmasters and guests in the house. Life needs to be enjoyed as it's not a rehearsal. There's a beautiful quote that goes like this: life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. So, are you ready to experience this reality as it comes by? How many people today sitting in this room are ready for the unexperienced things that are ready to unfold? For example, as a week before, I was not ready to meet with an accident, wherein I met with an accident. That was so unfortunate. All of a sudden, life just throws these tantrums, obstacles, unforeseen barriers that you have to break through. But are you really ready for these? That only is possible when you embrace those challenges and obstacles all by with both of your hands and are ready to solve it. Because most people are busy focusing on the problem and not the solution. I always urge everyone, when life unfolds and throws such problems at you, look at the solution, not the problem in itself. That time what happens is you get a solution that you are going to strive for and work towards it, because problem will be a problem unless it is solved, right? And only an action in your life will help you solve that problem. So enjoy life. Life is a roller coaster. It comes and there are a lot of ups and downs. I met with an accident and today I got my vehicle repaired by paying 15,000 rupees. I am ready to pay the price what life demands at the cost of enjoying it. So are you willing to pay this price similarly in your lives for the challenges you encounter, for the obstacles you face? If so, then get ready to experience this roller coaster and be ready to enjoy it. Over to you.
Thank you. Anyone has comments to give?
You know the timing?
Yeah, please.
Time is, she took 1 minute, 55 seconds.
I just have one thing to add, if I may go on.
Yes, please, Anusha. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Meghna. So initially when you started, I think you started with hi Toastmasters, welcome. So when it goes to contest, on the day of the contest, that two lines, I think people just get hooked on to the first word or the first thing that we say. So those two lines, if we can just take it off, I think it was a brilliant. Yeah, that is the only thing from my side. Otherwise, I really enjoyed listening to your speech, 2 minute
Thank
speech. There are so many things that I felt like you were talking to me directly. So it was very nice. Like I felt connected to the speech rather than just somebody talking. I felt connected.
Thanks for that. Yeah, sure. Taken.
Well, what about you, Pragnya?
Okay, please pardon me because I'm also making food for my kids parallelly. So yeah, so one thing which I really would want you to work on would be the points which you said were good, catchy and everything. But if you convert these points into a story, see how I understand table topic is that when I'm giving my 2 minutes to you, I wouldn't want too much of philosophy. I would want to know, why am I listening to you? Have you faced this thing? Have you lived this thing? Have you come out of it or not? So if these points, if you can rather convert into a story that this is what happened to me, this is what I felt, this is how it went, then it will be much, much more powerful than
Okay.
the current effect of it.
Sure, Pradip. Yeah.
My comments is that
Yes, sir.
the word rehearsal, because that is a key word here. We know what is enjoying life, but what do you mean when you say life is not a rehearsal? So
Yeah.
if you can go into that and explain what is a rehearsal, it's different thing. So if we are rehearsing for life, what are we rehearsing for? So that is the part that you have to explain, and then it be very clear you are in the right direction really.
Sure, sir.
That because that's a keyword here. So I mean, there are many ways of looking at it. Are we rehearsing because we are living in life so that we can go to heaven? So we end up doing things without enjoying life. Can't do this, can't do that. Because you do that, you go to hell. Or whatever. I mean, it's the way you put it, like in the way you philosophize it. You know? You can't do this, you can't do that because later in life you will suffer. So do we end up just doing things like, for example, don't spend so much of money, save for the old age, and then when you're old, you can't travel the world because you are not mobile already. You're on wheelchair. How to travel the world? So is
Yeah.
this what is happening to us? So if you can get that word rehearse and explain it clearly, what do we mean by rehearse? We rehearse for an actual event. I rehearse for a to act on a stage play. So should life become like that? Are everything we are doing just a rehearsal for the actual thing? That's how I feel you will get more points if you.
Sure, sir.
What about you, RP? Do you got anything there?
Yes, sir, I'm ready. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any comments to add on to Megna's speech?
I just came to the
Okay,
room. I just came back to the room.
okay. I'll call you next.
I can take up the timer role if Kanwaljit has to go next.
Yes. So you're on mute.
Let Dr. Kanwaljit go first. Sorry, I
Yes.
forgot about that. Okay, the intuition is the source of scientific knowledge. Intuition is the source of scientific knowledge. I'll put it in the chat in case you can't understand my English. Okay, there you go.
So when I hear this word scientific knowledge, the first person who comes to my mind is APJ Abdul Kalam. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has written this in one of his books that ideas, they transform into reality. The first thing that we do is we dream. Our dreams, they turn into reality because we get this idea. So here when we say that we have an intuition, then only we can create something big in this world. Alva Edison, when he first would have made this electric bulb, he would have thought about it a number of times. And then only he would have come up with this electric bulb. So this intuition that human beings have in their minds actually turn into scientific knowledge. Today we see that a lot of development has happened in technology. Why this is so? Today we are sitting, when we have AC in our rooms, we all are talking to each other on this virtual platform. Let me take my own example. As a teacher, when COVID time started, I was completely baffled what to do, how to teach my students, because I was a traditional offline teacher. And when I became an online tutor, I had to see a lot of things that were around me. These things were already existing, but I learned from it. Somebody has actually thought about it somewhere that yes, a time would come when people will connect with each other virtually. And this intuition turned, this introspection has turned things into scientific knowledge. And that scientific knowledge has changed the world drastically. Because one thing which is common in this world is change. Change is constant. Everything has to change one day. As you have heard this quote, that stagnant water stinks. So as human beings, when they don't think, when they don't have ideas, when they don't turn the ideas into reality and change it into a scientific knowledge, we will rot. So the world has changed because of that ideas or intuition that we have in the subconscious mind, and it has to be brought into life with time. Over to you.
Thank you. Meghna, do you have any the timer? What's the time she
Yeah,
took?
she took 2 minutes, 29 seconds, 0.99. She used this 1 second. She was like on time.
Yeah. Meghna, would you like to start first?
Yes, yes. Actually, you started really well while you happened to directly quote APJ Abdul Kalam, and the quote what you used, right? Ideas are the one that gives birth to the invention. That actually made a lot of sense to the topic. But later, while you took your personal example, that was not very much relevant. The reason being is when we say scientific knowledge, I was looking forward for more of discoveries, inventions, Albert Einstein, someone that have really done something revolutionary in terms of field of science, anything for that matter, very ancient, very current, anything for that matter. I thought the example could have been specific. And while we are confident, right, we don't know, it's better we cut the topic short and end it to the point rather than stretching it a little more, because sometimes we go off the track. Even that 1 second would have led to disqualification and contest. We can't take a chance. Yeah, that's yeah.
So my question now, Meghna, is that if we get a topic like this where we may not have the knowledge because we may not be a scientist, right? How can we? What would be a good approach to?
So if I would have got this topic, say, and I didn't have a knowledge about this, then I would have spoken about at least minimum of discoveries that I've seen, like invention of as basic as mobile phones. Okay, it is also, it is built out of science, right? It's built out of technology. How is scientific working today and things like that? I would have spoken as basic as this discoveries about medicines, COVID, vaccinations. All these are what? How did they invent? Because we thought it was an idea that was born in a human mind that led to discoveries. I would have spoken on very basics, what I'm seeing around. The latest things, I think I would have spoken more about them.
Maybe Ukraine and Russia, maybe.
Yeah, no, Ukraine and Russia, again, it will be political. So refraining, but again, yeah.
Pragna got something to say there.
No, so actually, I did listen to the speech, but I couldn't listen to the topic because I got disconnected in between. What was the
Okay.
topic?
Intuition is the source of scientific knowledge. It is in the chat. Can you see the chat? No, is it?
No, I got disconnected, sir, so I couldn't read also.
Post it again.
Intuition is the
Source of scientific knowledge.
okay. Okay.
Now, I want to throw an idea to you all, and I'm not sure whether it's right. Have you heard the book Blink? Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. In that book, he mentions about an individual goes into a museum, looks at the statue, and tells the people there that it is a fake. Nobody believed him until they called someone to check, and then they realized it was actually a fake. And they asked, and the answer given was intuition. Intuition. So, sometimes we call these things like gut feeling, and and then when you say certain things, it happens. So this whole book is about that. So maybe that is an idea you could bring in, saying that sometimes we can feel that certain things will lead to this by observation. Like, I mean, some of the famous people, they have already predicted, right? Like Lee Kuan Yew predicted the breakdown of the European Union. He said one day it will break down. How does he know? How did he feel? Some intuition, right? So that is one part. The other one is scientific knowledge. So can say like Isaac Newton, how come an apple drops on his head and he can discover gravity? If it had dropped on our head, we might not discover it. But why is it that only he? So that there is that ability to connect two things together. Pragya, do you got something to say? Is it?
Yeah. So if I was given a topic like this one, just one. Yeah. So if I was given a topic like this, probably I would go the other way around for it, because I believe that when it comes to discoveries or anything like that, it is more about the people who observe, analyze, and look into things as to what can be a source of making things easy, what can be a source helpful to making do a particular task or things like that. Even when you talk about science, it was more about the mentality of Newton or anybody, that if this thing is happening, why this doesn't happen. It is more than the intuition. It is a questioning mindset of people who have actually led to scientific discoveries. Because there might have been many people on whom the apple would have also fallen. They would have just taken it up, eaten it, and left from there. But he thought, why does this happen that it did not go up and it came on me? And that is what went to this particular. Similarly, when you talk about the chemicals or any other thing, the people were observing that how this chemical is working, why this chemical goes with something else, why is it giving a blast, or why is it doing something. So many people see the same things, observe the same things, but they don't respond to those things, and they don't go that step beyond to know. The gap between that knowledge remains where your mentality changes or your thought process changes. So more than intuition, it's the mindset which actually does this work for me.
It's a very good.
I would like to add one thing to Pragya ma'am. Can I? Actually, what you have said is absolutely right. It's more about questioning, but those questions don't get answered on the spot. It's the aha moment of wisdom which gives us the answer, and that wisdom comes in the form of intuition only. So that intuition helps us to complete the discovery. That's why the topic is the intuition, the source of scientific temperament. Wait a minute. Intuition, the source of scientific knowledge. You started the well that it's a root causes questioning, but those questions don't get answered on the spot. Like Thomas Edison didn't got his answer on the spot. He took so many failures. So those wisdom, those aha moments, they have answered him. So that is the intuition only. Okay, this I want to add. And regarding the Kanwaljeet ma'am, you are right. You are good. I was thinking, how do you come like flawless? You don't think you are the on the spot, just keep on speaking without any break. So that was a good attempt by you, and I would say it doesn't matter whether you were on the spot with with the audience or not, but the attempt was good. You are progressing daily, so it was good.
The only question I have here is like, because as we discussed that we should have a personal story, like we can start with a question or a quote and then relate it with our personal story, and then we should always end it giving a message. So that would be a takeaway for the audience. So I just want to know from you all that what can be the message in such kind of a question? Like there is no message. That I just said that the only thing which is constant in this world is change. So if we have this intuition, then we can bring about changes in the world and thus scientific experiments or knowledge. Yes, please.
The message can be that we should not stop questioning. We should never start youngsters to stop questioning. We should entertain their questions. And this question will help us, the society, to question many things. Like in India, we have seen so many old societal problems are going on. So, like even we say that when there is difference between male and female, we consider female as lower than males. But when World War One happened, all males were involved in wars. But the problem, the daily routines, all were managed by females only. They got to know that females can do the same task which we were doing earlier before the war. So these types of things go on and on in society. Witch hunting, so many things are going on. So we should never stop questioning. So we should entertain. We should be like children. This can be a message. Be like a child and keep questioning. Okay.
So rather, Kanwaljit, I would have given a message stating that intuition, while you quoted so many examples, you could say everyone has an intuition, but how many actually give an effort to follow that intuition and achieve something? So are you ready with this table topic, this thing? Are you ready to give a thought and a stress on your intuitions to achieve your dreams, your goals, your desires, and your targets? I would have given this message in the end. Yeah.
And the
My
other
question,
the
yeah,
other
sorry, sir,
alternative,
go on.
yeah, let me finish. The alternative is like what Pragnya said, to question the topic. To question. So at least, even if you're not able to follow according to the topic, you have something else to say, which will be different from the other contestants. And also, this is only talking about scientific knowledge. What about other kind of knowledge, spiritual knowledge? If you think about yoga, it is it can be considered as a not a scientific right knowledge, something that through intuition they saw something in a vision, they felt something in their body, and then the ideas came to them. Right? We have heard of stories about our rishis coming across certain mantras, or let's say certain sounds. Mantras is actually sounds, right? When we say this sound, so when you say these words and they create certain vibration, and it is good for people. So that is another way of looking. You don't just look at scientific knowledge, but there's other forms of knowledge, and intuition was the source of it. Yeah, Anusha.
I think Pragya was there before me. Pragya, please go on.
Okay.
Okay, so Kawaljeet, I'll tell you with the idea. If I was the judge for this particular topic. If I was evaluating, obviously I would look for something, because most of people agree to intuition being the source of most of the things, right? When it comes to any other subject, intuition can be a very good thing to support. And when it comes to science, your judges might be absolutely divided between intuition and science being a technical field altogether. Science is specifically, okay, if they talk about yoga, if they talk about any other stuff, then probably this is a good idea. You might get very good marks if you are able to justify why science is more technical and more logic based rather than mostly intuitive, right? If you remember the movie Mars or something, Vidya Balan's movie, it's a very good example for this thing, because when they were trying to use that, they were trying intuition, they were trying every single thing as to what will work. And what happened was, when she was making those puris, she understood the technical process that you reduce and still the puris are burning. So it was not intuition, it was not something which directly came to her mind, oh yeah, main puri talti hu, and let me also fry the rocket and it will work. It did not work. She understood the science behind it, she understood the technological background behind it, कि इसलिए ऐसा होता है, then she applied it. It was not intuitive, right? So you can use some kind of that example, probably something which you did with your kid. We do a lot of scientific things with our kids, we don't pay attention to them mostly, but that's what we do. And they are not mostly intuitive, we know the logics behind them, but they are so into the subconscious mind that we think it is intuition. Even those intuitions are because you have been paying attention. Even those intuitions, whatever you call the intuition, basically are because it is there in your subconscious mind, and it is just coming out to you in the form of so-called intuition. They're already there, you have heard about them, you have thought about them, you've addressed those things before. So that's how I would probably think differently, for at least for the contest. For other things it can be justified, but if you can justify this other side of the contest, so it will be, you won't have the fear of losing out there.
That is, in both the speeches that Meghna gave and I gave, it's more about the keywords, as Sir said. Keywords like rehearsal or here is scientific thing. So we need to think about both. Yeah. Thank you.
Pragya, are you ready? Your topic?
I
Yes,
have
sir.
just one question, sir. So is it necessary that we have some message towards the end? Is it necessary, or
Pragnya and Meghna have won at area and division contest, so they are best poised to answer this.
Okay.
Why I give a takeaway is always, if you have seen in most of the speeches, when we say ISC or HSC, we always say every judge, okay, every person who's evaluating, what is the takeaway? Okay, the speaker is listening to you for 5 minutes. What's the takeaway? Even in table topics is a form of speech. Opening, body, conclusion. In conclusion, there has to be something that you give away the audience. Leave our audience with a question, not a moral, but live with something that is impacting. So it's up to you what you want to make your speech lasting in the minds of audience. And if you're capable to do that, you are the winner. That's what it is.
Pragnya, what do you have? What do you need to add on?
Okay, so yes, I totally agree to what Meghna just now said. One thing which I kind of, most of my mentors told me, I must say, till my district finals, there was only one point which they said: if I want to listen to philosophy or somebody else's story, without you telling me why do you want me to listen to it, it's a waste of 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes for me. So these two things is what they said to always keep in mind. Firstly, don't add philosophy. I have Google for it. I don't need to listen again and again from you. And secondly, if I'm listening to you for 2 minutes, tell me why am I listening to you. If you can answer that why, it can be in two formats. Either it can be an excessively intact story. If your story is so powerful that itself is a message, then probably you can skip the message part, but we are obviously, it's very difficult within 2 minutes to get that powerful a story. If you do not have that powerful a story, then probably you can add a message. But please remember, in table topics, the message doesn't go for 1 minute. The message is quick, crisp, maximum one sentence or two sentence, which you want people to do. Why did you tell it? Did you want them to do something? Did you want them to feel something? Or did you want them to, remember something? These are the three reasons why you give a message. If you have done any of these three, you have done successfully in your table topics.
So now I'm going to give you a good question. Toastmaster Pragnya, the question is: the cautious seldom err. The cautious seldom err. You can see the topic in the chat.
Yeah, I'll just share this. I couldn't show it. Just give me 1 second. Who says the cautious seldom err? I have come across so many situations in life where people have been excessively cautious. Cautious to the extent of fear. I don't need to go far because I was one of those. With my two young kids, every single thing which they were doing, I was cautious about it. Don't do this, don't jump from here, don't eat that, don't drink that. Oh, it was a real bad story for them. I was so cautious that I forgot that I was actually spoiling everything in their life. They were neither getting healthy, they were not getting mentally stable, they were not enjoying their childhood, and they were frustrated, irritated all the time. Who says cautious don't err? I am the live example in front of you who has been excessively cautious about things. And I have always been erring in understanding what is the amount, the real amount of cautiousness that you need. Remember, over of anything spoils it all. Be cautious, but be a risk taker too. Be cautious, but let things free too. Be cautious, but try to err too, because that's where your learning is going to come. Who says the cautious don't err? You err to learn. You err with caution of not getting too much hurt, but don't leave the learning behind. Be cautious, but still err. Over to you.
Any comments from the others?
I would say the way you introduced your topic, it was a kind of hook because you were totally going against the topic. So this acted like a hook for the audience because we were all were waiting for something like in line with the topic only. The cautious seldom errs. I thought you would go in the flow with the topic, but this was a nice attempt, and you came up with your personal story about your children's and why how your cautious behavior was stopping their growth in life. Their health was getting disturbed. Their childhood was also getting disturbed. So personal story was present there, hooking was there, and the message also was there that we should always be cautious, but we should be ready to err because erring is where we learn things. So it was a good attempt. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Meghna, you got anything to add?
Yeah, sure. So very good, Pradnya. I actually didn't get the right essence of the topic, to be very honest. I was surprised. What does this actually means? But you got the topic really well. Just that while you happened to start off, you were like you were against the topic, but then in near to the closure to the end, very well mixed. I really liked later how you mixed like caution and and then along with that the learning part. It was really nice blend. So basically, audience are totally confused as what you're going to bring, and finally you gave a message. So it was a good attempt, I must say, because I was not sure on the topic. I really can't comment much to you. Yeah, good,
Thank
good.
Very good attempt. I got no further comments.
you. Thank you, Brahmakumar sir.
Um, uh, who has not spoken? Anusha and Arpit, is it? Anusha, have you spoken on a topic?
Yes, sir. First topic I spoke.
Okay. So Arpit, you haven't spoken yet, yeah, right?
Yes.
So your topic is forgiveness is the oil for better relationships. Forgiveness is the oil for better relationships. It's in the chat.
Yes. Relationships and forgiveness. It's true that forgiveness is oil for better relationships. Because most of the time we all err in our lives. We commit mistakes. But when someone points it out, we just start being defensive. We try to just getting defensive, offensive. Sometimes we get offensive also. Forgiveness is the oil for better relationship. To have a better relationship, we are supposed to have healthy relationships. A person who is more sensitive, we have to make sure the person whom we are pointing out that it's your mistake. The person is so much mature that he understands your state, that what you're pointing out. But majority of the time we see that the person who, whether it's your children's also, your wife also, whenever you point out something very erroneous in their behavior, they come out with very offensive in their life. So we have to make sure that the person whom we are pointing out their uh, mistakes, we have whether they are at good state of mind or not. So we have to make sure that he or she doesn't fall apart from our lives. So this thing which I have to make sure that we will also understand. Do we want a person who doesn't commits any error, or we want a person who is there with us? When the chance comes, like whether the person will be there or wouldn't be there because of our nature or just pointing out things. So forgiveness is a state of mind where we try to avoid getting into troubles or in in arguments with a person who is near to us. But I personally think that we should not always go in this forgiveness mode. We should make sure that you have committed mistake once. I can forgive you. You are committing again, then third time, then fourth time. This will again lead us to that distraction or a time where I will be the one who will be going against the relationships. So we have to make sure that we forgive the person, but at the same time we try to explain our point of view that this was a mistake which you were committing, so that the person also matures with us. Only one person's maturity will not lead to a healthy relationship. So both of us have to be matured enough to understand each other's problems and may have a healthy relationship. Over to Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone has comments for Arpit? Sure.
If no one has, then I could go.
Just go. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Arpit, if I were to take this topic, I would prefer, for the contest perspective, I would prefer going another way around and bringing the topic to a situation where you make them understand that it is not about forgiveness in a relationship. Okay, and how am I analyzing this thing is when I see my relationship with my husband or when I see relationship with anybody else, it is not about the situations where we came to the stage of forgiveness or not, right? Because in Hindi you say that if you have a not once, ek gaat lag jata hai to gaat lag jata hai. No, that is the stage of forgiveness. When it comes to healthy relationship, it is more about understanding, acceptance, and agreement or disagree. The agreement of disagreement. These are the three things which oil the relationship. If you have this, you will not need to reach the stage of forgiveness. Forgiveness is something which even it's more about people say that I may forgive but I will not forget. Whereas when it goes to the where you really need to oil a relationship, which means you're trying to make it work and brighten, you need to understand why something happened rather than going to a stage of forgiveness and all these kind of things. That's what would have been my take if I was there. But other than that, your explanation of the topic was good, and you picked up from the relationships and then you took it to this thing, so that was fine.
What happens the personal story?
Yeah, I was about to come to that point only. I thought I missed you telling the personal story. So the thing is, whenever you give an example about forgiveness while you were telling, also two things you were telling. One is about making the other person understand. You should give an example where you have made other person understand and also forgiven. Then it would add more value to your speech or the what you're talking. The example is a must. There is a method called Oreo: opinion, reason, example, opinion. So basically, your opinion on the topic, then why do you feel so? What supports that statement you're making with an example, and finally a conclusion, ending, closing, opinion. That will that is how it is practiced. Table topic. That's one of the methods that is followed for attempting a table topic.
Type in the
I just
chat
have a
box is
question.
Olorio. Olorio.
Yeah, Oreo.
Okay,
ORE.
I'll just add something here. There are two different methods, prep and Oreo. Please do not confuse the methods. Prep is something which where you have a point, reason, example, and point. Oreo method is majorly to be used where you have very opinion related topics, this or that kind of topics, and when you have an excessively strong opinion about any one side. Please use Oreo only then, otherwise it is prep, which is used point, reason, example, and point. Oreos are very specific methods which are used in topics where you want to totally just say abhi that scientific topic which was there, science and all that kind of a topic, you can use Oreo because I had a strict conviction towards everything in sciences, practical, logical, and all that. That's where I can use Oreo, but I will not use Oreo in this kind of topic, because you are differing from one point to another. You're going that this is also okay, that is also okay. Then Oreo is not used.
For this topic, I feel you need to explain what you mean by oil. What does an oil do? In a normal, like in the house, when the door creaks, we add oil to make sure it doesn't creak anymore. So like that. So you take that concept of oil and then you put it to relationship. So what does it supposed to do? It's supposed to smoothen relationships. So that's one point. Then, but here we are talking about forgiveness. So according to what Pragya has said, forgiveness is like after something has gone wrong, then you try to patch up things, which could be wrong. I mean, not wrong, but too late. Too late. Your husband makes a grave mistakes. The wife can forgive, but she can never forget what he has done to her. Similarly, for betrayal, friendship, a friend betrays you, that asks you forgiveness, but it's no longer the same on the same footing anymore. The relationship is forever broken because the trust is gone. The what do you call it, the faith in that person is gone. So like Toastmaster Pranya said, right? There's always you can come this point, that are you sure it can solve the problem, that you can forgive? If that is possible, why are there so many misunderstanding throughout the world among friends, amongst relationship? We cannot forgive. Because if you actually forgive someone, you would have forgotten it. That's the part that is missing. As long as you don't forget, you don't forgive. It's in your mind. He did that to me. He did that to me. Forever is that. And that's why, in the Buddhism it says, mind is the cause of anything. It's our mind. Someone did something to us 20 years ago. He or she has forgotten it, but we are still remembering it, and we are carrying it with us all the way. And we are suffering because we have not healed from that. So the oil doesn't really do much in this condition. So that's how you can explain it. So the next one, Dr. Conwaljit again, and then after that we'll Meghna,
Yes.
and then we'll call it a day. Pursue excellence, not success. Pursue excellence, not success. It's in the chat.
It is said that success is a state of mind. It is how the world perceives it. For some people, success is getting luxuries, getting on the top, having the highest number of likes on Instagram, on Facebook. But for others, it is the state of mind that is its happiness that they share with their friends and family. What do you think success is? One thing is for sure that success is directly proportional to hard work. Whether you are born with a silver spoon like Elon Musk, or you are a Shah Rukh Khan who has worked upon himself and got successful. So these are the two types of people who exist in the world, but both of them actually have worked hard to achieve success. On the contrary, if I say that the world consider them as successful, what about if I talk about my mother who has raised 6 children, 5 daughters and 1 son? She has not received any Padma Shri, has not received any Bharat Ratna, but she is successful in her own way because she has excelled in what she was doing. She never tried to get successful, but yes, just followed what came through. She was a hardworking lady. She excelled in bringing up her children. So if you think that success is only what the world perceives, this is one way you think, but there are people in the world who are successful, whether they have received these rewards or awards in this world or not. So my dear Toastmasters, pursue excellence, follow your heart, do what you want to do, and get successful in that. It's a state of mind. It's what you think, it's your perception that makes you successful and not the world. Over to you.
Any comments on the other contestants?
It was very good. I really liked it. You nailed it this time. Because I was just thinking of you're not bringing in excellence. I was waiting for 1 minute. Like when is she going to talk about excellence, excellence, excellence? But finally, when you got your mother's example, the excellence picture came into. But yeah, sometimes it's, I was afraid if you don't get it in, then you lose it. But you did it well, I must say.
Master
Actually,
Pragya?
I have this question also. First, Pragya will give her evaluation, and I have this question in my mind: when to come up with the title thing? Yes, please, Pragya.
Okay. So I will, this is completely personal because it was really good the way you did it. It was good. But this is my particular style, so I will just be talking about that. Whenever I listen to a topic, there are a few questions which come to my mind as a listener. First thing, why are you asking me to think and do something when I have come to listen to you? Okay, so whenever a speaker puts listeners in anxiety mode, what are you doing? What is happening to you? What is success to you? Too much of thinking for a listener breaks the chain for a listener. Okay, one thing is that. So we can probably reduce the kind of what you call
Questions.
force and kind of questions and force and pressure कि तुम्हें ऐसा करना चाहिए, because that's where listeners go off. मम्मियों को सभी सुनते रहते हैं, so they are already bored of listening to it, stories and exam, this kind of a thing. One thing is that. Second thing which came into my mind is why. Okay, this is very individualistic, but why would you go for only one? If I was the speaker, that is my question. Why would you go for only one? Why would you go for only excellence or only success? Isn't there any way where I can combine it? The definition of success can be my own, but isn't excellence an inseparable part of success? Isn't success for me probably just getting up and sending my kid to school at 7 a.m. dot can be a successful thing done in the day. But doesn't that also include excellence, that I woke up on time, I did my work on time, I packed his breakfast on time, and I dropped him time. Everything was excellently done. So with these kind of topics, most of the people would try to go for one side. You can happily combine and show the importance of both the sides, because anybody in life, there is nobody, absolutely nobody who doesn't want to be successful. The level of ambition can be different, but there is absolutely nobody who doesn't want to be successful. And excellence, doing your work diligently with excellency every single day, leads you to your definition of success. Okay, so try to combine it that way if you can, probably. Although there's nothing wrong the way you do it. That was perfectly great and it was really a good speech. But just that one notch higher than what others is doing is what takes you one step ahead in the contest. Right? So that's how probably you can try.
So my question here was like, as Meghna said, that she was waiting for me to bring that excellence part. So how to go with that? Do we need to get it in the first 30 seconds? Do we need to set that in the first 30 seconds, or gradually just open it up in front of the audience? This is what my question is here.
I think it is
okay. So my way of doing it is curiosity is cooking. Keep the curiosity at least till the half of your speech as to when is she going to get it. But do not keep it. Is like I'm forgetting. There was one. Okay. Please don't mind. You can go off the recording for this one if you want. I'm not sure if you would want to. You bring it after 1 minute so that you have the time to speak on it, and then you kind of go to the conclusion of it. Okay. So 1 minute is for your speech, your story building up and everything. That 1 minute ke baad wala thoda sa time is where you actually get the whole topic as the central idea, and then you conclude it.
Actually, I opened up the chat box and saw the topic again. So that's how I jumped on excellence. And yes. And
this will happen. This will happen in the contest also. This is a very common thing that people forget. And that is, there is one trick which normally I do is most of the people will speak the topic aloud. Right? So for example, if I was given this topic, I would speak it aloud and then start my speech. Whereas the right way is wait for 3 seconds, speak the topic in your mind. Because if you're speaking in your mind, your time doesn't start. Remember that. Your time starts with verbal or non-verbal cues. Mind is not a verbal or non-verbal cue. Simple.
good. Meghna, you want to go next?
Sure.
Everything is created in the mind. Everything is created in the mind. Sorry, everything is created twice. Everything is created twice. First in the mind, second in reality.
Curiosity is the mother of invention. And when does the person get curious is when he has thoughts, innovation, ideas. Where do they are born? Where you are risen? So they are risen in the mind. This particular thought idea should be given fuel by actions, and this fuel of actions will lead to evolving or making your dream convert into reality. Let me tell you a small story of a young lad who's just 8 years old by name Prahlad Nathan. This particular young boy built a particular tool called Annie, which is basically a tool used for people who are blind. This particular idea came to his mind when he was just 8 years old, and the invention was born when he was 18 years old. First, the thought was created in his mind, and then fueling his thoughts by action led to invention of that product. How many of us today have this particular thoughts in our mind, but are not fueling it by the word of action? Anybody sitting in the audience have similar thoughts and ideas who are not being fueled by action? Then today is the time for you to strike the call and get your thoughts and ideas, the fuel of action, to bring them into reality. Not just this, as basic as sending a school kid to a school also isn't thought or idea generated in your mind, but gets into reality or becomes a reality only when you get into action mode. Similarly, there might be multiple aspects in your life that you're just thinking about, but not fueling it with action. And dreams don't work unless you do. So if you're dreaming and bringing up that thought in your mind, then get them into action by fueling it. Okay, fuel it right now, today, and see it happening in reality. Because do not wait for the future, but create it on your own. Thank you so much.
Any comments from the others?
I believe it was a great speech. She started really well, saying that yes, you can fuel your thoughts, and then there was a story that was also built up. So the story gave more power to the speech. That is, the person just started thinking at the age of 8, and then at 18, it was actually invented. So I really feel that that gave a push to the whole speech. The personal anecdote was not there, but yes, that personal story, the story that was weaved could actually gave authenticity to the topic, which was everything is greater twice, first in the mind and second in reality. So that is, it was about intuition, that you have things in your mind and then later you create it. And there was a message also at the end. So I really found it good. And it was very much similar to the first one, which was intuition and scientific knowledge. I could feel that, and so well presented, because you gave a message as well at the end for the same thing. Wonderfully done.
Anyone else has comments to add?
Not comments. It was a great speech. I loved the idea. Two things which I would want to add. Okay, please don't think that I'm critical about everything. It's just that I try to give an alternative thought so that next time when you compete, you have much more, width to think on.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I'm sure everybody appreciates what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, it's just that, sometimes it feels that she's interfering with everything, but it's because I want to just broaden your thought process for that. So one thing, if it is the same speech, please take pauses. Okay, because this speech was showing a situation called angst. You search about it. What does that mean? And it's more of an anxiety mingled with the desire to speak faster and that kind of thing. So it was more a showcase of that. And that is why what was happening was I was missing out on sentences. So to understand it well, everybody has a speed at which they speak, but everybody also has a speed at which they think. And till the time your speaking speed will match with my thinking speed, I will absolutely not understand what is happening in your speech. And trust me, in Toastmasters judges, there are a lot of oldies also whose thinking speeds have really gone slow. So try to also address their thing. Okay, now comes to the alternative thought. Not alternative, but what if you take the same topic and talk about real things which are created in your mind and which cause issue? For example, standing on a stage, the anxiety which is created is not an actual anxiety, but is created in my mind. phobias and fears. Phobias, I don't know because that's a more technical side, but the fears are something which are first created in our mind and then put into picture, into reality. Okay, or probably things like anger is first created in our mind and then put into reality. Love, on the other hand, is also something created in our mind and turn into reality. Affection and care is also something which comes into our mind first and then turns out to be spreading. Happiness is created, the biggest thing ever possible. Happiness is created in our mind and heart first. Then only it is spread.
Correct.
That is me. I am the creator of all of this in my mind. So if you take these kind of things which are, because most of the people will talk about inventions, creations, discoveries, these are very common things. Rather go for things which are deeply associated with human emotions. Everybody sitting in that meeting, will relate to at least one thing, at least one: anger, fear, anxiety, happiness, struggle, anything. They will all relate. Even win is something which, you first win in your mind and then you win in your contest. That's how it is created. So try to use these kind of things which are more connecting, more powerful a message, that it is not only one thing. The creation is not about products. The creation is not about items or discoveries. The real creation is this.
Also, yeah.
A 2-gram thing in our body, and it is dominating our lives for every creation. So if you use something like that, it will be much more productive way of doing it.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Just one question here, Pradnya. As you mentioned, no, this anxiety, it's inborn. I was talking to sir also. This nervousness of mine I've overcome with the excitement. It is not that I don't know. That's innate.
Okay, I'll tell you the scientific things, because I am okay. I'm not sure if I should be telling it at this place or not. But isn't the anxiety of standing on that stage and thinking what people will think about me starts in your head? That is created in your head, and when you go on stage and stand, that turns into your reality, because it has already opened the door of that anxiety and fear for you. Right? So that if you start with something like this, you will clearly tell them what boundaries of anxiety are you talking about. You're not going into disorders of anxiety and all. Okay.
Right.
Actually, one thing that I have observed is that as a teacher, I have seen whenever I speak, I talk about a lot of things. So many people, I've discussed this with many people. They say that there are people whose minds, they speak faster than their tongues. So many things they keep coming up. Like it is the same case with me, Meghna. So now after joining Toastmasters, I have tried to work upon that. I take pauses intentionally the way I'm speaking. So I do that. I'm trying to do practicing this thing. So maybe sometimes our mind speaks so much faster than our tongues. So this is a very common problem with many people, mainly it's a profession as well.
Yeah, and that is the prime reason that you get ahs and ums and all these filler words into your speeches. If you remember, Brahmakumarji, this was something which I also told in the education session which I took for table topics. This was a point there. You have to practice the speed at which your mind thinks and your tongue speaks. That's when you will not have ahs and ums. And whenever I am also speaking, mostly if I'm not in my anxiety mode at that point of time, if I'm under control, I will be speaking at a speed where I will not get ahs and ums. As soon as I get anxious, the speed of thinking increases, mind is working at double speed, and then this mess starts happening. Because I don't have that sheet right now. I have attended at least 700 to 800 table topics and speeches and whatever possible. I keep my R-counter sheet always. I keep noting in one sheet as to where did I make a mistake, where was anxiety working on me, and how did I get a filler word? Because that's my point of attention everywhere. Am I getting a filler word or not? Am I getting an ahs or ums? Not. If I am not getting it, which means my brain and my tongue are speaking at the same speed. You can actually consciously practice. Keep a sheet with you whenever you are speaking in a meeting or anything, wherever place you're speaking. If you can note down, just try to consciously note whether this filler word came or not. If it came, see whether you were speaking faster. And this comes the other way around. There are people who speak very slow, and that is why the R's and M's come. Their mind is thinking so slow that they are speaking faster. Their mind hasn't registered it yet. What is happening? That is also a scenario that their mind doesn't work that fast. They will think so slow that they will start speaking, but they will not know what to speak, and then they will wait for their mind to catch up with their speed of speaking and think the next thought and speak. So that's.
I believe, Meghna, you are in marketing, I believe.
No,
And
no,
you
I'm a corporate trainer in a financial investment bank.
are a trainer. So maybe because of that, you have a lot of content with you to speak. So you get all the things at the same time, and then you speak up.
Lot of content, and 2 minutes is very less, I feel, many a times. So it's very tough for me. It's very tough. This is like I've paced down so much. My mentor used to tell Meghna, ऐसे तो कोई कुछ भी नहीं समझेगा. कुछ भी नहीं समझेगा. You are just sailing through. You have become Janashatabdi express train. You have to pace down. I have worked a lot, but I have lot to work.
A lot of paraphrasing is also there. Like you say one thing and then it is in the other way you say, and then you explain it beautifully. That is also one aspect of that. But yes,
Only Karmaji. It is risky only. I lost in my district finale because of pace. And the judge, actually, they don't disclose. I approached and I checked. And the judge, because as a feedback, I wanted to see what went wrong with me. So he said it was your pace. Your content was right, on point. Because of the pace, judges felt the other person was calmer. They thought I'm anxious and nervous because of the pace. As rightly mentioned by Pratnya, they got that. They could sense that. Because of that, they marked me down. It's so important to be relaxed, to handle it with ease. That is one of the another add-on point, brownie points you get when you handle the topic with ease. So it is a mastery only. Yeah.
Maybe you can consciously try to say, they always say, right, you must say 3 things. So maybe you can try this. I don't know whether it will work, but I've tried it and it sometimes I'll say number 1, number 2, number 3. So when I say those, there is a natural pause. Sometimes I'll say next, and then I'll pause for 1 second. So I have this, I've internalized it so that I also slow down. Because sometimes also I have this very anxiety and I go very too fast. So fast that people cannot absorb. But of course, not as fast as Meghna. You are really super fast.
Yes, sir. Too tough, sir. Too tough. Working, sir. Working hard. But I'll try, sir. I'll get there.
No, Meghna, one thing which probably you can consciously do. Try to count down your number of words per minute, and then consciously same kind of statement, or maybe 3-4 lines or whatever you want, same kind of statements, try to repeat and speak. Consciously slow down your pace, consciously slow down. Once you keep practicing this thing, keep recording. How many numbers of words are you coming to? It should not go over 100 or 120 max. If it goes over 100 or 120, the person in front will absolutely not be able to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And this is a very good way of practice, because initially I used to also speak extremely fast, but then I consciously started noting my number of words for each time, and I practiced on this thing. And still at times, if I'm anxious, I will do it sometimes, but mostly it works.
Yeah, I'll try everything possible.
And also there is one good technique, I don't know if it will work for you or not, but if you're using only one hand, in case it's online and you're not using, try to hold a pencil in your other hand. Okay, this thing keeps anxiety down somehow. I don't know why it works, but it does keep the anxiety levels down.
But that shows a sign of nervousness also if your hands are not.
No, if that is what I'm saying. If you're not using your other hand in the contest.
Okay,
in case you're not using the other hand, you're sitting and delivering or maybe anything like that. You can keep a pencil, a keychain, a something which fits into your hand basically and clench to it so that your anxiety levels come down there. Especially
Okay.
in the contests and debates, this thing works a lot. I don't know how, but it does.
Okay. Thanks for that. But that word thing I'll practice for sure. Counting
Yeah.
words for 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, it's almost 12 o'clock midnight here. So can we stop? We
Sure,
have a
sir.
lot,
Sorry for all the trouble.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you,
Thank
sir.
you so much, Meghna,
Thank you.
Anusha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm really helpful. I learned a lot of things from this session. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
So looking
so-
forward to many more sessions like this, at least in the month of April.
Actually,
So that
we'll if we can't have
in
it
your
on Friday, I'll do one on Saturday. So I also told Naveen ji, let's keep the momentum there, because once you don't, then completely the whole thing will be off already. So if you
Yes,
can't
sir.
do it on Friday, I'll do it on Saturday. But of course, I can't be getting all the table topics every time. My sources are quite limited also. So
I
some
know,
of
sir.
you can think, yeah.
So, but any meeting invites in between the week, if you have, keep it rolling, sir. I'll attend if possible. Definitely, it will be helping us, sir.
In the meantime,
Yeah.
Arvind and I will take turns to just post a topic there. Just try it out. I mean, we have within 24 hours, as long as you try it out, you are practicing something, some ideas will come in your mind
Sure, sir.
to just keep the momentum there.
You're from which division,
I,
which district, Meghna?
I am from Division W, District 98,
Division W is Goa,
Goa and Pune.
Pune.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
everyone. Bye bye. Good night. Have a great
Thanks,
weekend. Bye bye,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you,
Bye.
sir. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.